Sea of Stars has been a game on my radar for quite some time. I was absolutely thrilled when I first saw footage of it because it truly reminded me of some of my favorite RPGs of the past. And when I learned that Yasunori Mitsuda of Chrono Trigger and Xenogears fame was composing music for it, I was floored. That was enough to convince me to keep up to date on this game and play it as soon as I could. Fast forward more than a year, and the recent Nintendo Direct unveiled more footage and, to my great surprise, a fully playable demo of the game. Like a kid in a candy store, I quickly rushed upstairs to download it on my Switch and try it out for myself. And man, it seemed like that download bar could not have moved slower. When I finally got a taste of it, I knew I had to put together a video on what it's all about and give you my first impressions. Is it even possible that an old school RPG released in 2023 truly lives up to the hype of games like Chrono Trigger and the Final Fantasy series? Well, now that I've completed the demo, I'll let you know what I think. But first, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell below for more retro gaming content. Now, let's get into my impressions of Sea of Stars. When you fire this baby up, you're given the option of whether to use Zale or Valir as your main character. Both are beings called Solstice Warriors who gain either lunar or solar magic. Once you make a decision on a leader, you aren't locked into it though. You can always change it, and it doesn't really seem to make much of a difference at all. The demo doesn't divulge too much of the game's overarching story either, which is probably a good choice. Might as well save those things until the final release anyway. Your party can contain up to 3 characters, with the other 2 following the leader. Just like in Chrono Trigger, there aren't random encounters, so you can often evade or simply run past enemies on the screen. However, running into enemies throws you into turn-based combat with them. Elevation also plays a big role here too. In several places, you move blocks to jump onto ledges, travel around structures to get to new locations, and even jump down holes and climb up ladders. There's a fair amount of basic puzzle solving you'll need to do too, like hitting switches to open new passageways and memorizing patterns, stuff like that. The graphical style in Sea of Stars is truly fantastic, with its bright colors, beautiful old school pixels and sprites, and some really incredible animations. Many of these animations actually seem designed for specific scenes in the game too, which is really awesome. If I had to compare the visual style to other games, I would say it's a combination of Chained Echoes, the first 2 Suikoden games, and Chrono Trigger. I was also very impressed by the contrast between the bright and dark areas. The difference really makes each location come alive in its own unique way. As far as the combat goes, its basics are probably about what you'd expect from seeing it, but with lots of twists and mechanics you wouldn't. You can use regular attacks, skills, combos, and items. Many will be pleased to know there are also timed hits, so if you press the confirm button in the correct moment, your attack will do more damage. You can also reduce the damage you take by timing a defensive hit in the same way. But unlike Final Fantasy VIII and Super Mario RPG, special moves take advantage of this timing system too. For instance, during Valir's Moonerang skill, you can keep ricocheting the attack to hit multiple enemies if you time it correctly. You can even keep doing it over and over as long as your timing is good enough. Skills cost magic points, a limited resource that functions just like in other RPGs. Some skills are single target, but others have area of effect characteristics that allow you to hit multiple enemies at the same time. One of Garl's abilities even allows you to hurl an enemy across the screen so you can deliberately set these attacks up. That was definitely one dynamic I haven't seen before. The left side of the screen has a combo meter that continually fills as your party members hit or get hit by enemies. When it fills up, you can expend 1 to 3 combo points to unleash special multi-character attacks. This functions very similarly to the way dual attacks do in Chrono Trigger, and they're really fun to pull off. I think this mechanic was designed well too because you can't just abuse or spam it. Also, characters in Sea of Stars don't have many MP, relatively speaking. The flip side to this though is that you can progressively regenerate MP through regular attacks, so the game incentivizes mixing up your decisions. This definitely isn't an RPG where you just button mash your way through it. Some enemies even use abilities that take time to unleash, and during this charge up phase, you can actually break the attack by using the appropriate type of weapons or skills against it in time. Breaking an attack this way also gives you a combo meter boost, so it does provide multiple advantages. Yet another aspect of combat is that characters can absorb the small bits that accumulate on the ground. They're called live mana, and they boost the effects of your next action. Both of these features are great ways to make players think on their feet in battles, and there's certainly a lot more to pay attention to here than in many old school RPGs. Your entire party actually levels up together, and when this happens, you have the ability to select from one of 4 stat boosts for each character. This really reminded me of what we saw in Super Mario RPG, and allows you to tailor your party to your own preferences to some extent. The soundtrack was created by Eric Brown and the legendary Yasunori Mitsuda, as I mentioned earlier. From what I've heard in the demo, it's really impressive. The music seems to frame each part of the demo in a distinct and perfect way. I really enjoyed the battle music too because it's upbeat and infectious, and you'll definitely be hearing a lot of it in the demo. You can even hear Mitsuda's first track for the game, Coral Cascades, by venturing to this location on the world map. The demo doesn't even allow you to enter the location, but you can just stand there and listen to it. And hey, that's good enough for me. I just can't wait to hear the full suite of compositions, because if this one is any indication of it, it's going to be amazing. I also really enjoyed the sound effects, and that's saying something because I rarely notice them in a game like this. Even things minor like attack hits, dings, and timed attack cues really stand out more than in any other game I've played, and all of those things are important in this game. There's also a fishing minigame you can play around with, but I didn't spend much time on it. The overworld map looks really similar to Chrono Trigger's, but your characters move very slow on it. Look at this snail's pace. I think it looks and feels great otherwise though. So yes, Sea of Stars has as much promise as I've seen in years from a console RPG in the classic style. It seems to combine some of the best aspects from Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, Breath of Fire, and Super Mario RPG into a nostalgic experience that really makes me excited. I love the graphics, love the colors, love the combat, and love the music. It's everything I could have wanted and definitely met my expectations from the demo, which were already pretty high. I suspect most of my audience will be enthralled with this one for the same reasons I am, so go grab the demo. The game's official release on August 29th, 2023 can't come soon enough. So what did you think about Sea of Stars? Have you played the demo, or are you going to play it when it's released? Which RPGs do you think it's most similar to? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell below for more retro gaming content. If you want early access to the videos I produce and other perks, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon patron or via the YouTube Join feature.